Gypsy Man, and we back with another Glock. This time we got the Glock 47 that I've been working on in some other videos, but now we're going with the full Mountie. So we are going to basically make his gun feel more like my gun, which is my competition gun that he had the privilege of shooting. He got to shoot Black Beauty, and he liked it a lot. So we're gonna get his gun a little bit closer to feeling like my gun, although it won't feel exactly like my gun because it's a Glock 34 and has some other upgrades and things that I did to it, but we can get this pretty close for what he's gonna be using it for. And he's a left-handed shooter, so we decided to try to finally get him to switch it over for his hand. And as luck would have it, he can't even do it now because he's been shooting for over 20 years using the pointer finger on his left hand to to take the magazine out because the gun was set up for right-handers. So we tried to switch it around. We tried to get him to use it for a day at the range, and he just couldn't get it. He kept going back to that finger that a lot of lefties may use, or some of them just go for it and just switch it over and make it feel a little bit more natural, which is a lot faster too, when you don't have to break your grip to use your pointer finger to take the magazine out of the gun. But he says he's, instead of training through it, he's just gonna just keep going for what he knows after all these years. So whatever makes him feel comfortable. Now this gun is his clear, no magazine. This gun is his range gun. He doesn't EDC this gun because now that we have it set up, even with what the upgrades are in here now, he's not going to EDC this gun. We have a lighter trigger inside of it at the moment, and pretty much a shoe. That's about it. Everything else is stock. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with some of these upgrades. And this is one of them. We're going to put an extended takedown lever on there. We're going to put the extended slide lock, and we are going to change out the stock 17-pound spring, and we are going to put a 15-pound spring in there, and see how that works for him. That should it will feel better. I know when he shot my gun, he liked that I lightened the spring just a few pounds, and we're going to be doing that on his gun. And all of these changes that we're going to be making on here are very simple changes. So let's get some of that good old lube on this new spring. This spring was actually hard to find for this gun. It seems like everybody wants to change this spring on their Glocks. I think you should take your time and see how that recoil feels to you. I know for me, it felt a lot better when I changed my recoil spring. My Glock is extremely flat, very flat. And when he shot mine, of course I told him I can get yours better, and you can always get them better. And that's basically what we're trying to do. So, and a recoil spring is something that you can just pretty much pull out easily to change it out and see how it feels. You can swap back and forth because you don't lose your original spring, and you just see what it feels like. And I think he'll like it. I think he'll like it a lot, and I do think he'll notice the difference when he tries this gun. He told me this is, with the upgrades that we made so far, that this was his favorite gun right now. At least his favorite Glock. So, I can't argue with that. It's no surprise, and I'm biased towards the Glock because it's just a great gun. For me personally, I shoot my Glock better than I shoot my 2011s. So, that's all I can say for me. But for somebody else, that might be something that, it'll take a little bit of practice. But other than that, we haven't done much to it. We haven't done much to it at all. But taking the spring out of this one is a little bit different because the spring is actually a spring in the middle of the gun, and you have to basically push it out as you bring it down past the spring, making sure that you don't lose the spring. Okay, if you look on here, you'll see that it has a spring, a literal spring. Now the other generations do not have that spring. They have like a spring clip inside of them. So you got to be mindful of that when you're taking it apart, because it possibly could pop out on you. But it's fairly easy to change these parts out. And I always change out my spring. And you can see that this one's going to be longer, which makes it a lot easier to break this gun down and clean it. Because from my other videos, you would know that I like to clean my guns often, like every time I shoot them. Like I want my gun to always shoot with perfection that it's supposed to shoot with. So, I don't think it's a bad habit at all. So pretty much it's easy to get the Gen 5 in there. Actually, it's probably easier to do the Gen 5s than it is for the other generations. So you saw how fast that was. So this is the old. We're gonna put the new one in. I mean, this is gonna be a fairly short video because we're just swapping out some of the miscellaneous parts on it just to give them a little bit more control. Now, the thing that we are going to switch out, and I should be able to do this on camera fairly quickly. Now, we're going to put the extended mag release on there, and we are going to flip it back to the original side, which is what he requested and what he wants to go back to. So we're going to do that real quick, and it doesn't take long to do it. It's fairly easy to do. It's just a spring inside of it. It's a lot easier if I just take the whole mechanism out of there. For those who haven't done this before, we just pop that out. We can see a little bit better. And we can just slide that out. There you go, like so. Ain't nothing to it. And you just pull it from the opposite side, bring it around. If you can see that it's gonna kind of loop around, pops out. Throw that on the side, get the new one out, the extended one. Now, the extended one, you may think that it won't make a difference, but I'm just going to show it to you. If we can get this in focus. Let's see, focus. But if you can see from here, this is when you don't have one of those fancy cameras where you can get it to just pop in and out real fast. But if you look here, you can see that this one is the extended one and this one is the original one, and you can see from this angle that it's just a little bit thicker. Not a little bit, is a big difference. So let's go ahead and pop it in, and we're going to pop it in from the opposite side. And remember, we're putting it back as a right hand on the right hand side. So this is a little tricky, because what we have to do is we have to and another thing, let me give you the number before we pop it in there. Now the number of the extended one is 8794. The original one was 7534. Okay, it is a difference. It is a difference. So you may not see it from this angle, but trust me that there is a difference between the two. So let's pop this in, making sure that we have everything lined up the way it's supposed to go. And inside, you're gonna see a little tab. You can see that little tab right down here. Right there, it's the little tab. Let me get something to show you real quick. That's the little tab. Now we gotta get that tab around that little angle right there. So the way you do that is you have to angle it as you put it in, and you're gonna lift up on it with whatever tool you decide to do. I'm gonna use a flathead, and as I'm bringing it in, I'm going to just put it over it. As you can see, I put it over the hook, and I'm going to push it in, and then I'm going to take my flathead, and there's a little groove on the side right here, and I'm just going to slip it underneath that groove, and we're finished with that. There you go. It's very positive. So now we got our recoil spring back in there. We got a mag here to test. There you go. Very positive and a lot better. So what do we do with our parts when we work on guns for people? We put our parts, the original parts, in a little baggie, and we give them back to them when we return the gun. That's what we do. We don't keep parts and throw them in other guns. We just return them to their rightful place. So we put our Glock performance trigger back in. It's already lubed up. I already lubed it last time I worked on it, which was last week. We actually had an opportunity to shoot together for the first time outdoors, and it was a great time. He got to do a lot of shooting that he has never done before. And we put our extended slide stop, slide release, and we put our bar back in, and we put our pin back in, making sure that everything's lined up. There we go. You hear it. Everything's very positive on the Glocks. You can hear it tells you when everything is put back in the right place. If you listen to it and if you work on them enough, you know those sounds. All right, so we pretty much have everything done. We always test to make sure everything is functioning correctly. And we have the upper to assemble real quick. We already looped this up. And because this is metal now, I like to put a little oil on there. Put a little oil up there for disassembling, because disassembly is a little bit different when you have a different recoil spring in there. So we have that in there. Looks good. Looks good. And we have, make sure we have a nice bead of oil on the rails, which we do, because we just maintain the strength. And there we have it. There we have it. And we take it just out of battery. To function check. Slides back in. There we go. Take it just out. Let it go. And we keep checking it. We'll just do it a few times. Yeah. Good to go. Got extended everything. So, just some quick updates. I think he'll like it a lot better. He'll definitely have a good time being left-handed with these extendos on the slide stop. Slide stop works. We even have to check it with a dummy round to make sure that it locks back when it's empty. You know, we do our checks now. Dummy round. This is a dummy round. There we go. And we got lock back. So we're good to go. All right, so I think he's going to be happy with this. This is just a quick video. All right, Glock 47 with all the extenders on it. And looking good. All right, feeling good. Gypsy Man, and I'm out.